Я в лишь ни хрена не вижу. Конечно. Я, наверное, даже на стуле разверну. Слишком он. Я пытался, старался. Наверное, чуточку не успел. Ну, потом тут какое-то большое мероприятие может. А они слушай, ну, я не делал. Правда, шлем хотел. Было парно, я нашел недорогой шлем. Единственное, что я говорю, я в нем ни хрена не вижу. Он сильно я чуть даже париться со пойму, что я вообще здесь. М. Блин, смотри, я уже не налипал. Перед церемонией открытия должно уже, типа, судя по программе. Ну, так, снимаем, потому что, блин, это вообще. М, м, Ну, может быть, но судя по программе написано, вроде как нет, должно начаться. У них церемония открытия, она вроде как написано час. Где-то там. Условно. Не, ну когда-то их успею, но не к близко. На самом деле, тут здесь значительно проще. Я хотел, мы собрались на трансляцию, все дела, но что-то меня никто не... М. Было прям про что-то с чем-то. Я не... Э, Слушай, я бы не сказал, что ты прям... Ой, блин. Все получилось как-то само собой. Просто кто-то из ребят... По-моему, да, по-моему, кто-то из ребят меня пригласил на... Это было в 2008, по-моему, году. Был День города. И как бы анимешники тогда собрались в эту... Ну, как бы в колонну походить по этому... По центру города, короче. Там все было организовано, было как бы... Короче, в честь Дня города карнавал, короче. Мы в это дело вписались. Я бы не скажу, что у меня прям там был косплей, прям, ну просто... Ну, тогда я увидел, что ребята, в общем-то, делают, и мне это понравилось, и как бы я решил попробовать. Почему бы нет, с другой стороны. Вот. Ну, а потом как-то оно все само пошло. Я тут уже был ни при чем, как бы, ну, покатилось. Сначала мы там в команде выступали, примерно год с ребятами выступали. Потом я ушел в армию, у меня как-то все. Ну, а почему бы нет? Ассасин это классно. Я сколько думал про образ ассасинов, но потом прикидываю, что, блин, там столько работы, там столько всего делать придется. И как бы, блин. А. Вот теперь я вижу, что тут оказывается и счетчик даже, что тут еще 50 минут до начала, и я прям обидно, блин. Вон, когда в соседней панели буквально, вот, висит окошечко, и на ней написано 12:00 АМ. До часу церемония открытия. А церемонии открытия нет ни хрена. М, Ну, слушай, да, так ассасины они такие, они прям... Вот если взять все, они прям очень детальные, там много всего, как бы там, мне кажется, дешево не отделаешься при желании. Я просто вот, как бы, я ж когда, типа, мы участвовали в конкурсе, как бы, типа, мы там какое-то что-то там даже победили по Rainbow Six. Мы ездили на Игромир и разговаривал с ребятами, которые вот от Ubisoft постоянно там, вот ассасины. Вот, а они прям очень крутые. Прям, у них там прям, как они рассказывают, что делают, там прям костюмы прям реально золотые. Но они как бы с ними и на конкурсах всяких побеждают. Их смотреть на них, конечно, прям, они очень крутые. Мне прям очень понравились. Ну, слушай, я думаю, что 15 тысяч это по-божески еще. Хотя, смотря что ты еще, как бы, там же помимо, наверное, основного костюма много всякой мелочевки. И вот мелочевка прям такая вредненькая. Её много должно. Ну вот, и она вся такая, всякие эти значочки всякие ассасиновские, всякие эти там вот, как, или как у этого Альтаира, у него там прям броня, или как там костяная, или как там что-то такое. Вот это. Плюс эти вышивки на капюшонах там. То есть, ну это понятно, оружие не учитывается, конечно. Ну, вот, конечно, ну ясно. Но все равно думаешь, ассасины второго какого-нибудь плана, там, они сильно отличаются. Не знаю, по мне, так они там прям все, вообще прям все классно детализированные. Это как бы прям... Еще у меня почему-то клавиатура сдохла. Она работала, теперь я нажимаю на кнопку, у меня только загорается намлок и все, короче. Надо будет попробовать посмотреть, как она у меня выключена. Как кнопка выключить. Ассасины это круто. Тоже приятная всегда. Ну, не знаю, я как-то вот я к ней вообще никак не связан. И, наверное, не пойду в нее. Потому что она какая-то, ну, не моя совершенно система. Ой, это система. Вселенная. Не знаю там. Но у меня много знакомых, кто прутся по Гарри Поттеру. В школьной форме хогвартсовской. Как-то вот. как-то не в волне вообще. Сам по себе делаю, что как хочу. Что мне непонятно иногда. Вот, а популярные вещи иногда меня обходят. М. У нас ребята тоже как-то собирались вот именно по Хогвартсу. Персонажей экранизировали. Ну, как бы то, что вот в большом фотомарафоне с ребятами. Ну, у всех свои вкусы. У некоторых они весьма специфичны. Да. Ну, каждому свое. М. Ну, у всех свой опыт. Что поделать. Кому что нравится. Блин, так прикольно. Мне главное окошко-то не растянуть во весь. Блин, я боюсь, там начнешь играть и закончится. По-быстрому не получится. Там. Можно катать. Если у меня... Ой, полился. Полился. Кап. Ой, я не знаю. Я как бы... Мне сложно сказать, сколько у меня образов, потому что у меня часть этих образов уже просто на даче как бы лежит. Как бы сложно. А какие я делал, если честно, надо посмотреть. Ну там как бы вообще за все это время, там больше, чуть больше 10 лет, а там прилично накопилось. В принципе, по большому счету. Да, конечно. Да, да. Мне нравится этот город, но как бы, блин, солнце здесь, мне кажется, всё не прикольно совсем. О, BlizzCON, туда, кажется, тут тоже. А, нет. Опять тут. Да, конечно. Я в основную. Ну, я как бы видел ее, я фоткался с ней, но как бы я вот прям с ней не знаком. Я периодически ее туториалы смотрел. И вот этого вот последних я не знаю, кто это. М. Нет, об этих я вообще даже не слышал. Ну, фиг ли. Там как бы тема достаточно обновления нефти. Слушай, я не знаю, мне вот вчера человек сказал, как так, ну что, типа, у него обновился этот, как называется, Клиент, а я понимаю, что я с этим клиентом уже чуть ли не месяц играю. Я не понимаю, как так. Почему? Эти плечи неудобные, блин. Цепляются за все. Отвалились. Хорошо, хоть легкие. Я думаю, что если их пеной еще укреплю, они вообще у меня, наверное, отвалятся сразу. Потому что крепление какое-то универсальное к ним. Приделывать. Прям универсальный, прям такой, что прям, прям капитально, чтобы не оторвать было. Это я жнеца типа вчера получил. Ай-яй-яй. Как-то его поставить надо. Кстати, блин, шлем-то, конечно, блин, это литье такое тоже некачественно. Сейчас загнулась вот туда, она лежала вот так вот. И загнулся. Как бы часть теряна, когда одевается, очень сильно дает мне на голову. Прям в шоке, в диком. Давай. Фокс саппорт это что, да, по-моему? Здорово. Та-та-та-та-та-та. Та-та-та-та-та.
Вы прибываете в Риальто. Приготовьтесь атаковать. Выберите героя.
Правосудие свершится.
Шутки в сторону. Скоро начнется.
Атака начнется через 30.
Уже не те.
Разве насилие это выход?
Запускаю процедуру подготовки к бою. Оптимизирую стратегию.
Пять, 4, 3, 2, 1. Атака началась.
В целях безопасности.
Доставьте груз.
Это груз полной сохранности.
Обещаю.
Я нашел врага.
Барьер активирован.
Барьер активирован.
Это все!
Давай вернем тебя в строй.
Не волнуйтесь, друзья! Вы под моей...
Да. Зря.
еще не конец. Барьер активирован. Барьер долго не... Пошел!
Мне же меньше работы.
Барьер на пределе.
Никто не ускользнет от моего взгляда.
Не волнуйтесь, друзья. Вы под моей защитой. Груз под контролем. Давайте.
Как глупо.
Да иди ты, блин. Как глупо. У нас вообще где все это? Их нету, что ли?
Я еще не закончил.
Нам нужно продолжать сопровождение
Выходи
Близа.
и сразись со мной. Усиление действия. Вы готовы, дядька?
Бойтесь за барьером. Это
Да.
Вперед! Покажи им!
Как насчет помочь? Песня во мне еще не сложена.
Они возвращаются.
Вперед! Я позабочусь о тени.
Олад пошел!
в атаку.
Грандиозно!
Исцеление усилено.
Это честь для меня.
В укрытии. Цели в безопасности. Станьте за барьер.
Герои, восстаньте!
Враги опять рвутся.
Ну, так а чё нет-то никого?
Герои не умирают.
Обратно в бой!
Осталась 1 минута.
Долго я не продержусь!
Отходим.
Да. Да вы даже не дошли, уже отходите. Понятно.
Обратно в бой!
Осталось 30 секунд.
Мы проигрываем. В атаку. Зачищаю территорию.
Не остановись!
Осталось 10 секунд. Груз достиг контрольной точки.
не дам тебе умереть. Герои, восстаньте! Рубай, басы!
А где все-то?
Я так легко не сдамся.
Прекратить сопротивление.
Выходите, не стесняйтесь.
Приоритет защитных систем.
Твое время еще. Ангел-хранитель прибыл.
Я не понимаю, как бы...
Еще повоюем? Спаси назад. Не волнуйтесь, друзья. Вы под моей защитой.
Идите,
Рубай, басы!
Нет, умолю.
Долго я...
Да как так-то? Я же закрылся от него щитом-то.
Еще повоюем?
герои не умирают. Я не дам тебе умереть. Смотри, они повсюду.
Усиление действует. А ну, бой!
Сопровождаю. Зачищаю территорию.
Почувствуй мою силу.
Благодарю.
Что это за музыка?
Герои, восстаньте.
Да блин.
Герои не умирают.
Это еще не конец.
Уже в пути. Это тебя усилит.
Это честь для меня. Барьер уничтожен.
Осталось 30 секунд.
Вот, все хорошо. У нас не осталось времени. Отвлекитесь, усиление действует. А ну, бой!
О. Это, по всей видимости, то, о чем я думаю, да? Тут вообще написано, что в 2 часа церемония открытия. Да как так? Так. Че, еще разок катанем? Ну, на самом деле, команда не очень такая попалась. Как бы я постоянно без хила оставался. Причем ДДшники у нас такие, как-то, ну, вот очень сильно напрягал их крыс. Сначала вдова и вот крыс. Они прям плотненько вообще сидели, не давали никому. Но в целом, да, тут нужно было играть агрессивно.
Меня больше Симметра контролила и жнец.
А чё ты не говорил ничего?
У меня спят все.
А, ну я понял, ладно.
Да и я просто потом сменил Арису на другого чемпиона, на Сигму. А то как-то все золото по телам и у Арисы. Я такой замечательный. ДПС вообще урон не вносит.
Ну да, это бывает обидненько, да. А, да, хорошо, сейчас сделаю.
Вы прибываете на пост наблюдения Гибралтар.
Все мы теперь солдаты. Вы знаете, кто я. Газин, сват.
Ох ты, догнал, козлина.
Я еще жив.
Ты не знаешь пощады.
Видишь, он там под хилом-то может, да? А без хила попробуем.
Вы прибываете в Непал.
Мы прибываем в Непал.
Приготовьтесь к бою. Выберите героя.
Я так крюком покидаю.
Да, хорошо.
Я ходячий апокалипс, не спешить некуда.
В другом раунде.
Правосудие свершится.
Если эти жилетки так хотят прийти к свету, у
меня
меня
завалялась
завалялась
для
пара
мяч.
гранат.
Эти железки хотят...
Не люблю эту карту.
Слушай, да, она такая... Ну, на самом деле, это еще ничего. Вот мне больше нравится вот другая, которая деревня.
1. Первый раунд.
Деревня
Захватите.
самая трудная.
Кучкуемся возле меня. Выздоравливай.
Прячьтесь за меня.
позиции.
Тысяча чертей!
Нехорошо.
Объект активен.
Не волнуйтесь, друзья! Вы под моей защитой!
Надо бы поднять свой АПМ.
А вот и я.
Попробуй-ка это. Моя суперспособность готова. Делай. На колени передо мной.
Телепортация.
А ну-ка, попробуйте меня остановить!
Ерунда.
Час расплаты.
Обернись. Сейчас я все исправлю. Неплохо, старик. Сейчас я все исправлю.
Двойное.
Подожди!
Apagando las luces.
Дополнительное время.
Зачищен.
Двойное убийство.
Покажу, как надо.
Барьер уничтожен!
Отвали. Эй, зацените.
Скажи мы, как дела делаются?
Я тут и сама.
Какая занятная акустическая технология.
Не пал, блин.
Спасибо. Это мой отец изобрел. Вы бы с ним подружились.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Второй раунд. Захватите объект.
Здравствуйте.
Терапия!
Объект активен.
Займите позиции. Отвали. Противников
Сосредоточьтесь на объекте.
Слышь, Гей,
Я в ударе.
Я подлечу.
Мой барьер уничтожен.
вы это чувствуете? Попробуй-ка это.
Сомбра сзади.
Я в ударе. На меня напали. Добавим.
Зачищен. Зачищаю территорию.
Я свадьбу зажигаю.
Моя суперспособность заряжает.
Объект мой.
Кажется,
Я готов врубить звуковой барьер.
Сейчас расплата.
Apagando las luces.
Огонь по готовности!
Вижу противника.
Попробуй-ка за нервы!
Я покажу, как надо.
Попробуй-ка за нервы!
Врубай басы.
Приветствую.
Быстрее ко мне!
Попробуй-ка это. Врубай басы.
Зачищаю территорию.
Вы это чувствуете? Вот и они. Я готов врубить звуковой барьер. Попробуй-ка
Apagando las luces.
Дополнительное время.
увеличим громкость.
Сейчас расплата.
Победа. Лучший момент матча.
О, теперь ты.
как только я вижу, постепенно игра заканчивается.
Быстрее ко мне!
Двойное, тройное, 4 убийства.
Там реклама какая-то. Что, еще одну или уже там интересненькое? А, не, давай еще одну. Давай еще одну.
Вы прибываете на пост наблюдения Гибралтар.
Я буду защищать невинных. Обнаружен снайпер.
Вперед, я прикрою.
Снижай.
Восстановите силы.
Приземляю.
Глаза слепаются.
Никто не ускользнет от моего взгляда.
Вперед, я позабочусь о лечении.
Здоровье восполнено.
Меняю позицию. Противник на радаре.
Внимание на мою цель.
Исцеление усилено.
Вы знаете, ну привет.
Тронешь ма... Зачищаю территорию. Снова на связи.
Вдова на месте.
Черт.
Захватываю цель.
Ханзо к вашему
Я нужна своей команде.
Сигма прибыл.
Ну да неужто?
Вы прибываете в лунную колонию Горизонт. Приготовьтесь к обороне. Выберите героя.
Я присмотрю за тобой.
Никто не хочет делать бункер.
Райнер, для своих лет ты все еще видный кавалер.
Ну там какой-то диджей.
Не иначе.
Там какой-то диджей выступает, что-то там играет, музыку какую-то.
Спасибо.
Можешь выйти и пойти смотреть уже.
Блин, ну давай их попробуем сейчас, посмотрим. Тут две точки все-таки недолго должно быть.
Пять, 4, 3, 2, 1. Начинается атака. Защищайте объект А.
Я все еще с тобой. Вижу противника.
Это все, что вы можете?
Вот.
Барьер ослабевает. Барьер уничтожен.
Исцеляющий поток активирован.
Не волнуйтесь, друзья. Вы под моей защитой.
Исцеление усилено. Я тебе... Наносимый урон увеличен.
Что-то они слишком шустрые какие-то.
Запиши на мой счет.
Теперь ты раскроешь свой потенциал. От тебя не просят.
Смотри, они возвращаются.
Пошел!
Чудеса современной медицины.
Не волнуйтесь, друзья.
Объект потерян. Новая позиция обороны. Объект Б.
Отлично. Не бойся, я прикрою. Это тебя усилит. Вот это поможет.
Выходите, не стесняйтесь.
Битва еще не закончена. Нужна помощь. Вот, все хорошо. Наносимый урон увеличен. Усиление действует. А ну, чувствую силу.
Сейчас расплаты. Цель.
Все, что вы можете?
Верный выбор.
Активирую увеличение урона. Я помогу.
Эх ты ж. Не в ту сторону полетел.
Я должна быть там, где меня ждут. Нужен врач.
Ой, казанер!
Я напали.
Герои не умирают. Враг возвращается. Герои, восстаньте.
Приступаю к лечению.
Вот, все хорошо.
Думал, со стороны всех расстрелять, все на него полетели.
Поднимаю.
Я не дам тебе умереть.
Спасибо.
Вот это поможет.
Отлично.
Все системы проверены.
Урон увеличен.
Нужен врач.
Дай им перевести дух.
Стимулятор активен.
Сейчас расплаты.
Вперед, покажи им.
Сейчас расплаты.
Чудеса современной медицины.
Исцеление
Давай я
усилено.
тебя подлечу.
Это поможет. Герои, восстаньте. Вперед, покажи им.
Бегите, нубы! Вождь пошел!
Глаза слепаются.
Не покидай.
Засыпай.
Как же бабка досталась.
Быстро спать, но не долго.
Активирую увеличение урона. Отлично.
Ой, казанерки!
Враги возрождаются.
Пора приодеться! Попробуй казанерфить!
Двойное. Валькирия снова в строю.
Да я в ударе.
Наносимый урон увеличен. Я напали.
Это поможет.
Переполняет меня.
Чудеса современной медицины.
Запиши на мой счет.
Я о тебе позабочусь. Теперь ты раскроешь свой потенциал. Активирую увеличение урона. Не останавливайся. Осталась 1 минута.
Вперед, покажи им.
Сейчас расплаты.
Поднимаю.
Твое время еще не пришло. Герои не умирают.
Восстановите силы.
Нужен врач? У тебя получилось. Осталось 30 секунд.
Не успеваю
Герои,
вырезать.
восстаньте.
Теперь ты сильнее.
Питание на передний барьер!
Тебе выпад.
Валькирия снова в строю.
Выходите, не стесняйтесь.
Увеличено дополнительное время.
Я в ударе.
Командное убийство. Победа.
По-любому ты, наверное, взял лучший момент. А, нет.
Попробуй-ка занерфить!
Двойное. Эпический матч.
Ну все, надо идти, наверное, уже. Почти. Сейчас начнется. Вот так, наверное, должно быть получше. Так, музычка ничего, конечно. Нормально. Нормально вроде. Рюджино кино Курая.
That feeling of just knowing a game is right for you when you first lay eyes on it is such a great feeling.
The thing that happens is you start to feel the excitement just build up.
I'm thinking about it all the time, even in my sleep.
Даже когда спит.
I play video games because I love stories.
Клево.
Experiencing worlds that you can't experience as yourself. I guess video games allow me to be what I can't. It's fiction, but it's not.
And come home, log onto your PC, and disappear into a different world.
I am a part of something bigger, a part of something beautiful.
As an autistic person, video games give me a place where I could be in a world that made sense to me.
I will tell you that all of my family play video games.
Me and my brothers, we would share the computer 1 hour at a time.
저는 제 와이프랑 게임을 가장 많이 해요.
I'm really enjoying playing video games with my dad.
My children.
My little sister. That connection between video games allowing us to converse with each other
added a lot to our relationship.
Games like the World of Warcraft let me meet people that I probably never would have.
I can honestly say I've met some of my best friends through playing games. We have this connection that allows us to share our joys, to share our achievements, to share our growth together. Every time I'm able to achieve something, I'm able to make myself proud.
Killing heroic Blackhand back in Warlords of Draenor was one of my favorite memories.
I managed to find that one hidden pylon with my one Mutalisk.
We beat hardcore Inferno Diablo.
I was able to hit gold in competitive in Overwatch.
I had someone say, oh, I can't lose to a girl. And I beat that guy.
So I was able to slay this warlock as a little gnome holy priest, freaking out and screaming the whole time.
Adrenaline through my body was going crazy.
Pela caminhada ter sido tão prazerosa e pela conquista ter vindo.
A gente se sentiu muito, caramba, a gente conseguiu algo incrível aqui.
I killed the Lich King! I killed the Lich King!
然后夺冠之后，现场的女性工作人员，包括有些男的工作人员，他们都哭了。
Many years ago, I was doing a quest in Terracar Forest, and a lovely little mage came up and said, would you like a hand? They helped me for the rest of the day. We've been married now for over a decade.
Those video games filled a void. They filled the friendships that I didn't have. There isn't a huge LGBTQIA+ community in my city. So when I was able to play a video game, I was able to start talking with people who didn't really care that I was a gay male.
But video games were my escape. When I was a teenager, my dad was diagnosed with ALS, and I looked to video games as a way to escape from that sort of reality.
Выход в реальность.
And I'm just glad video games were there
Круто.
for me.
I'll never stop playing video games.
There's no way.
I imagine myself one day being an 80-year-old grandpa gamer.
Playing video games has shaped me. I don't think I would be who I am today.
My passion, my interest, my excitement, they belong.
Video games opened for me the world, and because of that, I'm forever thankful.
And I can't wait to see what the next generation holds.
Да, это, конечно, здорово.
Welcome to BlizzCON Line, a celebration of 30 years of Blizzard communities and 30 years of Blizzard games. 30 years is so many
Ну
years,
тут, блин, да.
and
Да, я
last year
согласен.
maybe felt like one of the longest of all. But throughout the years of Blizzard Entertainment, from 1991 to today, many of us can associate certain games with milestones in our lives. Maybe you were a little kid the first time you played The Lost Vikings.
Блин, а говорили,
Or
что...
in high school when you first played a Diablo game. Or maybe you met your partner while you were playing World of Warcraft. That's the
Говорили,
awesome
что
thing
будут
about video
русские
games.
субтитры.
They give
Yeah.
us experiences that are
Of
relevant to the times in our lives and
Of course.
experiences that we carry forward with us. Games are here for us during good times, and they're here for us even when we feel alone or maybe uncertain. Games are coming home, familiar, comfortable, with a connection and a sense of belonging. And while many of us spent most of 2020 in our actual real-life homes, games became even more of a place to get away, to be free from outside concerns, even if just for a little while. So, this is pretty weird. Usually, when we start BlizzCon, the opening call is to my favorite Warcraft faction, the Alliance. Or my favorite faction, the Horde. I get confused. Usually, I'd be speaking to 40,000 of you in person at the Anaheim Convention Center and millions of you around the world. And usually, that would be a perfect way to celebrate. But nothing about the last year has been usual. The pandemic has been hard on everyone, and for many different reasons. But if there's one thing that the last year has taught us, it's that being apart physically doesn't stop us from moving forward. It doesn't stop us from connecting with our player friends around the world, diving in as warriors and heroes, and checking on each other as humans. It doesn't stop us from sharing our latest epic gaming story or celebrating those of others. Games continue to unite us. Now, to be honest, I wasn't sure how well Blizzard could work from home. There are thousands of people all needing to work together in creating our universes, games, and experiences. Never has it felt more true that it takes a Blizzard to make a Blizzard game. And in 2020, it became clear that the magic of creating a Blizzard
Да, Ор, конечно, очень прикольный, прям, перед зданием.
It's tied to the people who work here, and I continue to be so proud of each and every one of them. Thank you, Blizzard. We create these games and pour all of our energy and heart into them, but it is you, the Blizzard community, that brings them to life. And that's why BlizzCON Line is a celebration of you, the guild leaders, healers, DPS, tanks, innkeepers, Zerg, Terran, Protoss, Blackwatch, Shimada, the heroes of Sanctuary, and of the Storm. These next few days are for you, our Blizzard community.
Конечно, клевые.
For World of Warcraft, we'll be showing you what's next for both Shadowlands and Classic. I'm sure you're all burning in anticipation for that one. Hearthstone is getting back to its roots in a major way. We can't wait to show you how. We also have news for our Diablo community. Some of you were able to dip your toes into the depths of hell in the Diablo Immortal Technical Alpha. I really enjoyed seeing players embrace the multiplayer aspect of meeting in town. We can't wait for more of you to get your hands on it. So, it's only the beginning of the year, and already there is so much to look forward to, even though we can't yet be together in person. The Overwatch League will be kicking things off in spring, and we'll be watching closely to see if the San Francisco Shock can continue their championship run. World of Warcraft esports is back with the Arena World Championship and Mythic Dungeon International already in full swing in Shadowlands. StarCraft 2 and Warcraft 3 esports are going strong with our friends at the ESL Pro Tour. And qualifiers are already underway for the first online stop of the 2021 Hearthstone Masters Tour, with the first event taking place next month. But before we get too far ahead, let's take a look one last time to when times were a little simpler. In the early 1990s, the internet was a baby. CD sales had finally eclipsed cassette tapes. Cassette tape, it's a rectangle piece of plastic, and there's a tape inside, and music would get recorded on, and sometimes you needed a pencil to wind it and make it tight. I know, it sounds crazy. We were all playing video games on Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, DOS, or Mac PCs. I personally was a master of config.sys and AutoExec.bat. So many simple things in simple times. If only we could relive them.
Это. Аркадный автомат. Рок-н-ролл рейсинг.
Now we're talking. What a play! Crank up the volume.
Да. Даже большие приключения всегда начинаются с от первого шага. Блин, ну реально, если представить, сколько у них конкурентов на тех же рынках, это вообще прям 30 лет, это прям очень круто.
The Blizzard Arcade Collection, featuring the Lost Vikings, Rock and Roll Racing, and Blackthorn. These are ports of the games just as you remember them, allowing you to relive the original experience of all three titles in 13 different languages, with a couple of quality of life upgrades. As an example, we include very modern, cutting-edge functionality that wasn't available in the early 90s, both saving and loading of games. And for those of you who purchased any Blizzard Digital Anniversary Bundle via Battle.net, you'll automatically receive the Blizzard Arcade Collection on PC today.
Да ладно.
Now,
Круто.
you ready to hear about some other video games? Let's hear what's next for
Прикольно.
World of Warcraft.
Красиво сделано.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. No matter where you are, World of Warcraft unites us all. Whether you're exploring the Shadowlands, classic Azeroth, or another part of the Blizzard universe, I'm glad you could make it, because we've got a lot of good stuff to show you. But first, let's start with some Covenant pride. Kyrian, take flight. Night Fae, let the hunt begin. Necrolords, to war! Vintha, let's party. The world has thrown a lot at us since the last BlizzCon, and the thing that's really kept everyone going on the WoW team has been connecting with all of you. The bonds we forge with our guilds and family and friends in WoW are powerful and real. As WoW enters its 16th year and Blizzard celebrates its 30th anniversary, we're so grateful to have the most dedicated and friendly communities in gaming. Let's recap the events in Azeroth. In WoW Classic, we fought an endless battle for South Shore and Tauren Mill. We banded together to open the gates
Warcraft
of
меня, честно говоря, не
Ank'Raj
особо
and join
интересует.
forces to take
Даже
down
вслушаться не
Kel'Thuzad
хочу, о
and
чем
its
речь.
floating citadel of Naxxramas. In
Тут связано с, по
Shadowlands,
всей видимости, с
we helped our
классиком
Covenant
сейчас.
recover from the Anima
Сейчас
Drought,
интересно,
brought on
что
by
было.
Sire Denathrius, master of the
Главное,
Vindhyr
чтобы они его
and
не
traitor
завалили.
to the Pantheon of Death.
Прям конкретно.
We survived the halls of Torghast and crafted legendary gear in our
Только был
efforts to
недовольных.
expel Denathrius from his castle lair. But innocent souls are still wrongfully being sent to the Maw. They face an eternity of torment, and heroes like Anduin remain chained in its depths. The jailer continues to grow in power. He's preparing to break free from the Maw and complete his plan to unmake the entire Warcraft universe. And Sylvanas. You may be wondering what she's been up to all this time. Today, we're excited to unveil our first major content update for Shadowlands, Chains of Domination.
Look around you!
What makes you believe you're not just a weapon to achieve his ends?
Enough! Join our cause, or be made to serve.
Right now, you hold all the power. Make your choice, Sylvanas Windrunner.
What if Denathrius' treachery is irreparable? The Primus is lost, and Bastion cannot save the Shadowlands alone.
None of this should have happened.
Perhaps the Winter Queen could.
My Archon, a living soul, seeks an audience.
A mortal?
A king. By all our measures, one who has spent his life striving for justice. One who would give anything to serve his people. One whose heart is true.
Very well. He may approach. Step forward. My Ascended have spoken of you. The king, held captive in the mall.
That prison could not hold me forever.
Why have you come to Bastion?
You have a key that I need.
You will release this soul from your grasp.
No. He is bound to me.
Just as you once sought to bind your own brother.
Трындец Бастиону.
The vessel performed its part flawlessly. 3 keys remain. Then they will see. Death was never meant to be chained.
Это прям сильно. Мне прям нравится.
That is so intense. I know you probably have a lot of questions
Прям
about
всех
what you just
раскидал
saw
там.
and what it means for the next stage
И
of your
тетку Зару
Shadowlands
убил.
journey.
Ибо
Later
нефиг
today,
опять.
my teammates Ian and Jeremy will be telling you more about Chains of Domination in our Shadowlands update. Please check out the World of Warcraft channel to find out more. Next, I'm excited to share our upcoming World of Warcraft charity pet program. We've heard a lot from our community about how much they love these pets and the opportunity to give to a good cause, along with ideas to make the program even better. So during this upcoming campaign, you'll be able to donate whatever amount you wish to directly support our chosen charity. Once donations reach our goal, everyone playing World of Warcraft will get a pet for their collection as a thank you, whether you were able to contribute personally or not. And to make this a fun challenge, if we reach a stretch goal, everyone gets a second pet too. And here they are. The first pet is Bananas, literally. He was originally available to a select few back in Burning Crusade.
Ну, не знаю, это вообще прям, мне кажется, лишнее. Хотя я понимаю, что некоторые люди прям живут там в играх, прям до фанатеют, но блин, ну, это как у томцы, средства передвижения, это же...
Also known by their French name, Médecins Sans Frontières, or MSF. They're an amazing group doing important work around the world.
Как Тамагочи.
We're grateful to have such a generous
Тамагочи только для Warcraft.
This worthy cause. We'll be sharing the details about the charity pet program on the World of Warcraft website soon. So we've talked quite a bit about Shadowlands. Classic players, now it's your turn. It's my pleasure to hand off to my teammate, Holly Longdale. She's a longtime WoW player, a veteran. Tell us what's in store for WoW Classic.
Hi, everybody. First, I'd like to thank all of you who have ever been part of the WoW community over the years. You know, online worlds like WoW have been a huge part of our lives for decades now. As a dedicated MMO fan and a developer myself, I remember hearing that Blizzard was going to be making their own MMO. And I thought, well, I guess I'll check out that beta. And sure, we all call the game WoW. But really, wow. I could not believe I got bit by the MMO bug again. I was so excited to be able to make a Night Elf hunter and be like that famous Dark Elf ranger from the books that I loved. I have to tell you, Azeroth was, and still is, a place I love to live. Since last year, I've had the great honor to
Я
work
не понимаю, смысл обсуждать третий WoW, да, где они как бы его ремастерили. Классик, вернее, классик. Они же его просто ремастерили. Практически, я так понимаю, что все, что в нем будет, и было, уже когда-то было.
Making friends on that long haul from Teldrassil to Ironforge, all the way to the absolutely staggering, like when I jumped blindly through the dark portal and was running through Hellfire Peninsula, heard this terrifying noise, and then saw the Fell Reaver. Biggest roamer I had ever seen, and I was very glad I had feigned death in that moment. And that's the thing about WoW. These stories and experiences we all share keep us coming back time after time. With that said, I'm super excited to be able to share with you where our adventures are taking us next.
You dare enter my realm.
Такой... Ух ты, шахматы.
Has brought you to this end. Take my blood and choke on it.
Death to the outsiders!
I'll turn your world upside down.
You are not prepared.
Честно говоря, не удивили. Вот было бы прикольно, если бы они банально тот же WoW классик перегнали на мобилки. Типа того же рейда или еще там. Мне кажется, это было бы реально круто. А вот ремастерить... блин, я не понимаю смысл. Смысл ремастера так, в принципе.
The Draenei in Exodar, the Blood Elves in Silvermoon. I love playing them both. Do you choose to enlist the Aldor or the Scryers in your quest to fight the Legion? And of course, we can't forget gathering all your friends to fight Illidan at the top of the Black Temple. I can't wait to relive it all with you. Since the team first set out on their own quest to bring the original WoW back to life, we have learned a ton about what players are expecting from this kind of experience. We've also learned when to keep things just as they were and where we all might be open to some changes. We're bringing all these lessons into Burning Crusade Classic, with our primary goal to bring back the same feeling you had when you faced the Fel Reaver for the first time, or when you were digging through piles of Felhound poop. Of course, we can't get this right without you, our incredible community. Soon, you'll be able to revisit Outland yourself when beta starts and tell us what you think. Later, all WoW Classic players are going to be presented with a meaningful choice for each one of your beloved characters. Do you want to move on into Burning Crusade Classic? Or do you want to stay in the original Classic era forever? Whatever you decide, you can do it all with your one WoW subscription. Now, I know I've thrown a lot at you, but don't worry. We'll be getting into the details in our panel later today. So stick with us. We'll make sure you are prepared. And now we're going to hear what's coming up in Hearthstone.
Ну, в Харстоне я вообще ничего вообще абсолютно не вдупляю, что там вообще может быть, что происходит, как бы, но сама рисовка мне нравится, картинки прям. Ну, и музычка прикольная, таверна такая.
But first, let's take a quick look back at the year of the Phoenix. We added our first new class, the Demon Hunter, and ventured into the ruthless Outlands. Then, we went to Skullman's Academy and got to explore dual-class cards and their powerful synergies. And with our third expansion of the year, we brought you Hearthstone's biggest update ever, alongside the menacing old gods in Madness at the Dark Moon Fair. We launched a brand new game mode.
Апдейтик будет, видимо, большой. Интересно, что он принесет народу.
We also introduced our long-awaited achievement system and made a significant overhaul to the rewards and progression within the game. Now, it's time to say farewell to the Year of the Phoenix and see what's in store for Hearthstone this year. Welcome to the Year of the Griffin. Over the last couple of years, we've made big changes to Hearthstone. Throughout the Year of the Griffin, we want to keep delivering fun, new experiences and make sure that the tens of millions of you playing Hearthstone are always excited to log in. First up, we'll be giving the standard format its biggest shake-up ever, with the launch of the Core Set later this year. The Core Set replaces the old Basic and Classic sets with a collection of 235 cards made up of some of the best from throughout the years, as well as 29 awesome brand new cards. And the best thing about the Core Set is that it's entirely free. So, there's never been a better time to get into Hearthstone. Here are 3 of Hearthstone's legendary dragons, reimagined to feel more up-to-date and competitive for modern-day Hearthstone. Ysera the Dreamer. You'll finally receive her full arsenal of dream cards right away. She's a nightmare for your opponents. Malygos the Spellweaver. He'll fill your hand with spells and is a powerful late-game play, worthy of the aspect of magic. And finally, everyone's favorite Black Dragon.
Favorite Black.
He's still as destructive as ever, but timed correctly, he won't leave you empty-handed. We'll also be launching a brand new format, Classic, where you can play Hearthstone as it was when it first launched. The Classic format will be fully supported, complete with ranks and rewards using Hearthstone's original set of cards. So, if you want to relive the old school experience, then Classic is the place for you. With Classic revisiting the past, now let's take a look to the future and explore the first expansion of the Year of the Griffin.
For a hero of the Horde, all roads lead to the crossroads. You have come for adventure. But the Barons wants to break you. Your axe must be sharp. Your wits must be keen. And your heart must be mighty.
Кто-то сейчас огребет.
Strength and honor. This is who we are.
That's right. We're headed to one of Warcraft's most iconic locales, the Barrens. And we'll come face to face with the heroes.
Ну куда же без сильных независимых женщин?
Starting with one of the Horde's most iconic and well-known characters, a fierce loyalist, one-time war chief that embodies the honor, loyalty, and spirituality of the Horde, Shadowhunter Vol'jin. Shadowhunter Vol'jin is a neutral legendary that allows you to either bolster your own board or weaken that of your opponents. And to celebrate the announcement of Forged in the Barrens, this card is available for free for everyone later today. So log into Hearthstone and claim your free copy of Shadowhunter Vol'jin. And as a bonus, we're also giving away the brand new 30 Years of Blizzard card back. Next, we have another hero of the Horde who is making his first appearance in Hearthstone. The legendary Blade Master, Samuro, featuring the new keyword, Frenzy. Frenzy activates the first time a minion takes damage and survives. In Samuro's case, this can be used to clear your opponent's board. Heroes of the Horde, like Samuro, are famous for their combat
На
prowess,
какой-то читоста
but
похоже
others,
немножко.
like Thrall, are known for their powerful elemental magic. Take a look at this new shaman spell, Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning is a spell in a new cycle of cards that rank up and become more powerful when you have 5 and 10 mana, ensuring that they're always useful at every stage in the game. You'll also notice that they're categorized as nature spells. With Forged in the Barrens, we'll be permanently introducing spell schools across the entire game, which enables a whole host of exciting new strategies. And don't worry, members of the Alliance will be featuring some of your most beloved heroes and locales later this year. But what I love most about the Warcraft universe is its amazing characters. And our final announcement is our most ambitious addition to Hearthstone yet. It introduces a brand new way to play with your favorite heroes. Hearthstone Mercenaries. Mercenaries features strategic RPG gameplay, where you build teams consisting of some of the most iconic heroes and villains from the Warcraft universe, including timeless characters like the infamous Sylvanas Windrunner, and Ragnaros, the elemental lord of fire. You can also expect to see some of Hearthstone's fan favorites, like the unstoppable Devilsaur, King Crush, and the ever-growing Gruul the Dragon Slayer. You'll lead them in battle through highly replayable roguelike missions, where the map is randomly generated every time you play, and each node represents a unique challenge for your team to take on. Your heroes gain levels, new abilities, equipment, and can even evolve into more powerful versions of themselves. We're thrilled to finally show you Hearthstone Mercenaries. It is scheduled to launch later this year, and we'll have more to share with you down the road.
Только баблишко надо вливать в игру. Когда ты прокачаешься.
So don't forget to tune in to our deep dive panel after the opening ceremony, where we'll share more details on the core set, the new classic format, Forged in the Barrens, and our plans for Battlegrounds and Duels,
as well as our upcoming single-player content. I want to thank the team for their amazing work. And on behalf of all of us at Hearthstone, we want to thank the many millions of you who play our game. Your dedication and support is what drives us to make awesome updates and pursue ambitious and fun ideas. We can't wait to kick off the Year of the Griffin with all of you, and we hope to see you in the game soon. Next up, you'll get an update on all things Diablo.
Страшно, блин.
Hey everyone, thank you very much for joining us. I am so excited to kick off the Diablo segment of our show, and I am honored to be here on behalf of all of our Diablo teams to share the news and updates we have in store for you today. We've got a lot of Diablo to cover, and I hope you'll agree with me that it's a great time to be a member of this
Лучше бы они мультик показали, чем объясняли, что нового они туда воткнули.
We first shared our game with you during BlizzCON of 2019, and we've been truly humbled by your response. We've kept in touch through quarterly updates and sincerely appreciate the thoughts and valuable feedback you've provided as we unveil more and more of the game and share in its development. After all, Diablo belongs to you as much as it belongs to us. Most recently, we teased an update to our campfire screen, and savvy fans, of course, understood that we meant more than just the character lighting and fire visual effects. That's right. Today, we're happy to announce a brave new soul joining the barbarian, the sorcerer, and the druid on this dangerous journey back to Sanctuary. A class is one of the most exciting things you can announce in a Diablo game. This one is especially exciting to me as it's a re-envisioning of one of the first classes to ever appear in the series. Let's have a look.
Давайте посмотрим. Давайте.
May Akarat guide and protect me.
May Akarat guide and protect me.
May he shepherd my soul.
May he shepherd my soul.
And grant it mercy.
And grant it mercy.
What are you doing here? This is not the time.
But this is confession. And I have sinned.
Нашла.
I was a thief who stole from those more fortunate. I strayed from your light and found my trade in the shadows. They call it murder. I say, job well done. I am a thief, a heretic, a murderer, father. Will Akarat save me?
You mock our light. But those monsters were a scourge upon my flock. And you were the answer to their prayers.
Then we are settled, and you owe me.
The name you seek is... Thank the heavens for you.
Heavens? I assure you, Father, the heavens didn't send me.
Изгой. Я говорил, да, про сильных независимых женщин, да? А тут она еще какая-то имба прямо. Сперла, по-любому, что-то сперла. Вот оно чё. Походу, с такой теткой ему понадобится скоро шкаф побольше.
I've been a huge fan of the Rogue ever since the original Diablo. Even seeing them come back as NPCs and mercenaries in Diablo 2's Rogue Encampment served as a great bridge between the games. With the setting of Diablo 4 being a larger world than we've ever played in before, we're excited to show you not just what the successors to the original rogues in the series have been up to since the fall of their order, but also what some of the other rogues in the world of Sanctuary might look like. The mantra for Diablo 4 has been customization first, and the Rogue takes this to a whole new level. From the beginning, the Rogue has been an incredibly flexible class, able to adapt to any situation. Our goal is to let you create the kind of Rogue that you want to play. Whether it's an unrivaled archer modeled after the original Sisterhood, or a cloak and dagger rogue from the darkest alleys of Chaldeum, in Diablo 4, you will have the freedom to create the rogue that you imagine by customizing the looks, the background, and the playstyle of your character. Please stick around for our segment later today, where I'll be joined by other members of the Diablo 4 team to share a closer look at the rogue class, as well as some of the open world gameplay that we're bringing to the game. Spoilers, those severed ears are not just for show. But Diablo 4 is not the only Diablo game we're talking about today. If you're looking for an authentic Diablo experience on mobile, we've got you covered. Diablo Immortal has everything you'd expect from a AAA action RPG. From the visceral combat and epic loot to an all-new story, bridging the gap between the events of Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. Later today, you can join the Immortal team, where they'll talk about some of the things they've learned from their recent alpha test and what's next for the game. But that's still not all. We have one last bit of very exciting Diablo news to cover. When you hear us talk about the classes, the items, or the stories of the early Diablo games, you may have picked up on the absolute reverent tone we reserve for that golden era of Diablo. Maybe you share that love of the classics, and just hearing us talk about them makes you want to take on Mephisto or Baal
Не
one
знаю,
more
по-моему,
time. Or maybe
вторая
even
часть
for the first
самая,
time.
по-моему, классная.
After all, some of our favorite
Типа
moments
Золотой век.
happened a long time ago, and not just in Sanctuary years. If so, we have a special surprise for you today. Let's check it out.
Now you know what I seek, Marius. Were these the demons from... Don't do it! It seems I'm not acceptable of that unto me. Arise, Diablo, Lord of Terror. Though this be our darkest hour, it may yet be your greatest moment.
Спасайтесь, глупцы.
After more than 20 years, the Dark Wanderer has returned. And once again, he travels east. Always east. Diablo 2 is a landmark game for Blizzard. Diablo 2 Resurrected is a full HD remaster of both the original game and the expansion, Lord of Destruction. It takes the 2D sprite-based classic that we love and brings it into the present in 3D, utilizing up-to-date graphical rendering and lighting technologies. It also includes modernizing all 27 minutes of cinematics, recreated shot for shot with the explicit intention of preserving both the look and the pacing of the original movies. Blizzard has a long history of games that we're proud of. And when we think about Diablo 2, we think about it as a definitive pillar in our foundation. Now, it's funny to think that some of you weren't even born when D2 was released, which makes it all the more important that we deliver an authentic experience wherever you play. We want everyone to relive their memories or experience the game for the very first time on their platform of choice. And so we're excited to bring Diablo 2 Resurrected to PC and console, along with cross-progression. And for those of you who are in love with the original and you just wish it worked more seamlessly on modern computers, you can bring back all of that nostalgia exactly as you remember and enjoy the game in its original 2D form, much like we did with StarCraft Remastered. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about. Later today, Diablo speedrunner Mr. Llama will host a roundtable with members of the development team on the dedicated Diablo channel. If you are a Diablo 2 fan, I encourage you to take a look. So, from Diablo 2 Resurrected to Burning
Короче, они
Crusade
переиздали все свои старые игры.
Blizzard Arcade
Я не знаю,
Collection,
зачем они это
a
делают.
whole lot of looking
Типа, это же круто. Ну,
And while we have
я в этом
teams
ничего крутого не вижу.
dedicated
Мне кажется,
to bringing
в тех
these
играх была, реально
timeless
была та обстановка, а сейчас они добавят туда все перека и прочая байда. И я не знаю, что от оригинальной игры останется. Ну, сюжет, да, хороший. Но, блин, игра-то перестанет быть той самой, которая прям в детстве нравилась. Я думаю, что все-таки это как выкачивание денег на уровень из как это ретро-воспоминаний, все такое.
30 years ago, what gaming would look like today, none of us could have predicted the current Blizzard lineup of games. The advances in technology are one thing, but it's really what those advances have enabled that's even more incredible. If you think about the people who play games and the communities that have grown up around them, the way people can connect instantly, no matter where they are in the world, the way people are increasingly able to express their identity and celebrate who they are through their favorite games, communities, and platforms. The explosion of things like streaming, cosplay, and esports. It would have been hard to imagine any of that 30 years ago. And at Blizzard, that is what excites us about the next 30 years. There is so much that we're working on. And some of it you already know about. The rest, we look forward to talking to you about it when the time is right. Just like the real world, the worlds of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, and Hearthstone are diverse, expansive, and full of potential. We are not only iterating on the experiences that you've come to expect from us, we're also exploring different ways to express our worlds and welcome more players from more places into them. And we aspire to continue to lead on priorities like accessibility and toxicity control, and to continue supporting causes that have a positive impact on the real world. We want to continue to bring those same feelings of joy and achievement that we all felt when we first defeated the Lich King, or beat Diablo on hardcore mode, Because when we geek out on those experiences with others, we can't help but see the similarities between us and feel what's possible when we play together. Of course, there are new Blizzard worlds that we haven't visited quite yet. And when we do finally unveil those games and experiences, our hope is that you will see in them what we do. That no matter who you are or where you're from, they are spaces where you can create new stories, forge new friendships, and make memories worthy of lasting a lifetime. And through it all, our mission statement of being dedicated to creating the most epic entertainment experiences ever, along with our core values, led by gameplay first, will continue to guide our way. So on behalf of everyone at Blizzard, thank you for being on this journey. For me personally, it is the honor of my professional life to serve you, and the honor of all of us at Blizzard to be the caretakers of the worlds that you play in. We are so excited for what's to come this year, next year, and the next 30 years. Now, what's coming next for the show? Well, it depends on where you watch. For those of you looking for an update on Overwatch, check out the behind-the-scenes look into the development of Overwatch 2 over on their dedicated channel right after the conclusion of opening ceremonies. There, you'll hear about Overwatch 2, new content, new features, including new maps, hero missions, talent trees, and more of what we think will make Overwatch 2 a unique gameplay experience. For World of Warcraft, Diablo, and Hearthstone, you'll get a closer look on their respective channels. And on the dedicated strategy channel, some StarCraft legends will be going head-to-head in epic competition. Once again, welcome to BlizzCon Live. Be good to one another. Welcome home. Before we kick things off, here's a little something from a previous BlizzCon headliner.
Hey, thanks for having us. We're Metallica. Thanks for having us at BlizzCon 2014. We would love to be there this year, but obviously can't be. So here we are, and this is for you.
Коротенько, минут на 40, да? Короче, про овер так на открытии не сказали. Там ничего хорошего особенного.
before you die. It's the last time you will. Rock and roll, match your floor with the crumbling sky. Trapped in gold with the soul, with the ruthless cry. Stranger now of the
Вот, наверное, вот это годнота. А то, что до этого было, я не знаю, как-то. И всего мне понравилось, наверное, только про Shadowlands, Chancel Domination. Прям синематик, прям такой. Прям нормально так зашел. Да. Ну.
I'm king of the world! For Lordaeron! What can I do for you? 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 What can I do?
Your death will. Morta Vespa Gaia Inu.
Help! Help! Strike with great vengeance! You are not prepared! Frostborn hungers for your soul. Your time has come. Whoa! 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 strange.
Greetings to you. Seems you're ready for the real thing.
Watch your back.
Hey, look at me!
Oh, looks like we got an audience.
I'm getting good at this. I am in the groove.
Turret online.
Piece of cake.
Happy birthday. Мне понравился этот видос, это прям вообще прям, ну, так офигительно, прям ржачно. Как бы все 30 лет компании в одном видосе.
Welcome everyone to our deep dive panel for WoW Classic.
Нет,
I'd like to start with some
пора
introductions with these fine gentlemen with me
брать
and myself. I'm Holly Longdale.
судьбу
I'm
в свои
the
руки,
principal
походу, да.
producer for WoW Classic. A little bit about my background.
To start to suspend. The scale and the scope of this game have meant that we've needed to grow substantially.
We have to.
Sorry. Let me start over. Overall, I think we've done incredibly well as a team moving to work from home.
Oh, shadow play.
There have definitely been challenges, but the team is really putting everything we've got behind this game.
To me, it's the next big step in the Overwatch universe. New heroes, game modes, major story beats.
With competitive and PvE, I see Overwatch 2 as the Overwatch for all of my friends.
You know, we're always inspired by what story and franchise development does with the animated shorts. We really wanted to bring that cinematic experience into the game.
You can invest in your heroes and grow them over time. I'm super geeked out about Overwatch 2.
I can't wait for people to play this game. It just gets better and better.
There are some things that we just can't do without a sequel. So thank you so much for your patience so far, and I hope you enjoy this behind-the-scenes look at Overwatch 2. All of our players at home, they want to see one of the new maps that we've never talked about before.
Really? I can just talk about anything that I want to.
Yes.
You're serving this up to the guy that is like unintentionally leaked information in past interviews.
You can do it officially now.
Okay, so one of the maps that I'm most excited for in Overwatch 2 is our Rome map.
We always want Overwatch to feel like this globe-trotting adventure for our players. So we're having a lot of fun coming up with the Overwatch version of Rome.
We wanted a very romantic, sort of this powerful feeling of old world architecture. One of the most exciting things for me is the early building of these maps, where we get to sit down together with key people from the environment team, level designers, effects groups. We'll spend some time talking about moments in the game that we really want to see, like the Colosseum or a grand view of the hills of Rome in the backdrop. And then we'll go back and do a paint over, or we'll do a concept painting of certain things based on that.
We try to draw inspiration from as many different sources as possible. For example, one of our environment artists had just taken a trip to Rome, and he returned with thousands of pictures and was so excited to work on a map set in Italy.
There's a lot of ancient architecture in Rome that represents the empire that it used to be. So we brought some of that back. Some of the things that are destroyed in real life, we kind of rebuilt in a kind of an Overwatch style.
It's one of the most beautiful pieces of environment art that I think we've made for the entire game, and it just absolutely took my breath away.
Can we reveal more maps?
Yes, Scott. Scott, why don't you have the honor? Why don't you reveal, like, is there an artified, like, let's pick an artified one.
I know what map I want to talk about. It's the one that I just get super excited about. New York City. New York City is just an amazing Overwatch location.
We're really striving to make it as authentic as possible while still putting this Overwatch spin on it.
There's a lot of amazing buildings and architecture pieces that just, especially for artists, stands out a lot. And they usually use this kind of Art Deco style from the 1920s, 1950s.
We started in an area that's a little bit like the Village. There's some smaller shops there. There's a fire station, little pizza places and things that people that are familiar with New York City will either recognize or maybe see the reference that we're trying to make with some of our different locations. It feels like something you haven't seen in other games before because it's uniquely Overwatch.
Well, we should move on. Otherwise, we just have to reveal more maps. So we were talking about PvP, and you know, one thing that I think is really interesting about PvP in Overwatch 2 is some of the philosophical changes we're making to the approach.
PvP feels different and new. We're upgrading our combat feel. The roles are playing differently. When it comes to all new maps, it's a pretty big departure from where we are on live right now. So I can't wait to see where we end up with it by the time we launch this thing.
We're also experimenting with the idea we call role passives, which are passive abilities that a hero can have based on what role they are. For example, currently in our internal builds, the tank heroes all have knockback reduction against them, and they also generate less ultimate charge for enemies that are shooting at them. Damage dealing heroes have a movement speed bonus, which is great for flanking around the map. And healing heroes, support heroes have automatic healing that kicks in after they haven't taken damage for a while, very similar to Mercy's passive, but a little bit of a lower rate.
One of the more shocking changes that we've been exploring in Overwatch 2 PvP is a change to the tank role entirely. That's applied to all of the tanks. We want to try to make them more toe-to-toe brawlers and less characters that just stand back and protect other people.
So for example, for Reinhardt, we've given him 2 charges of Fire Strike, so he can throw Fire Strikes a lot more aggressively and more often. Also his charge, he's able to cancel it now, and you can steer it more aggressively, so you can, you know, not quite turn a corner, but you can definitely more accurately pin targets. And because you can cancel it, it allows you to use it much more aggressively and, you know, really go after those key targets without feeling like you're going to sacrifice, you know, all of your positioning, everything to get there. He's almost more terrifying now with this, to be able to unleash his full arsenal more often than kind of just being the guy with a shield.
The changes to Reinhardt that we're trying, and they might not ship, that's just the reality, but the changes that we're trying right now are to try to embrace more of that instinct that players have when they want to play a big burly character that looks aggressive and feels like it should be aggressive.
Shortly after BlizzCon, we spun up this group, our combat field group, to really just work on what happens when a player holds the trigger.
We're putting a ton of effort into looking at all of our characters and trying to give them even a more visceral weapon feel.
From sound to VFX to animation to the design of these units, all new sounds for a lot of our weapons in the game, and a whole new sound system that's driving it. And we didn't just level up a unit, we leveled up the rest of the game.
When we first started working on Overwatch, you know, we spent quite a bit of time working on gunfire sounds, and just general combat feel to make it feel really awesome. We're revisiting pretty much everything. Nothing's off the table, so we're looking at even kind of small things such as quick melee attacks that every hero has. So they have kind of new audio pass and a new kind of feel and visual effect when you hit things.
One of the bigger efforts we're undertaking for Overwatch 2 is what we're calling our Weapon 2.0 Sound Pass. What this is a big overhaul to the weapon systems in the game. That means the way the gun feels in your hands. You could feel the ammo running out as you're getting lower on the clip. We've really tried to
Бастиона
amplify those
переделали.
sounds to better
Наверное, на нем
encapsulate the
было.
gameplay and the gunplay that comes with Overwatch 2. Another key for the weapons was getting them to feel like they're in the environment. This meant working with convolution reverb. It's a new system that we've implemented into Overwatch. It's a way that we can capture the acoustics of an environment and transport it onto the sounds that we're using. So we went and captured tales of guns in different environments through our weapon shoots. And then we've cut them and applied it so that we can support a lot more environments. Now we're supporting outdoor, urban outdoor, warehouse tales, tight tunnels, small rooms, and it gives a lot more presence to the weapons and the way that they react.
Короче, это
in the
пулемет.
world.
Это не винтовка, это
has evolved a
пулемет.
lot since Overwatch 1 came out. On top of that, I think we really want to push the visceral nature of how we do combat. So we focused a lot, not just on the wonderful sound effects, but also with how the gun moves as you shoot. You know, so you can really feel every single shot leaving the chamber. And there's a lot of subtle little tweaks we have to do on the gameplay engineering side to make that feel really visceral. Everything from making sure that the camera shakes are crisp, making sure that if you get shot, you know exactly these tight indicators show up on the outside of your reticle. All these things play into making the game feel not just tight and responsive, but also modern and up to date. Take 76, for example. What we wanted to do in Overwatch 2 with his weapon was make it really feel incredibly powerful, and that happens with a bunch of different elements that mix together. But it really feels like the gun is almost just outside of your control. A lot of that comes down to this camera shake technology, where every time you fire the weapon, you want to feel like it's running through your entire body, and the camera shake gives that extra bite to every single shot out of the chamber. It makes him feel really great.
You guys got a sneak peek of Sojourn from last BlizzCon. She's been under development for quite a while, and she's actually quickly at this point become a lot of people's favorites in-house. When we look back at Overwatch when it was originally created, there was a lot of heroes that were made from a gameplay standpoint kind of surrounding a weapon type. For example, Pharah was based on a rocket launcher hero. Widowmaker is clearly like kind of the sniper. We thought there was a weapon that was kind of missing that would be a lot of fun to play with, and that's a railgun. It's so much fun in the playtest to have this really powerful shot that can, you know, rip through enemies if you really are accurate with it. And she's all about that aim skill. So if you got that aim skill, you'll love her.
We're still exploring new game modes, and we're also reevaluating older game modes that people are more critical of.
Sojourn будет вооружена рейлганом.
Maybe 2CP doesn't exist in Overwatch 2, and maybe there's a new cool game mode that replaces it. We really want Overwatch 2 to feel like the next evolution, a true sequel to the first game, not an add-on. It's not a small part. It's not an extension of the original game. This is an evolution and a replacement to the original game, and I think it's exciting. Hero missions are probably one of the things that's the hardest to wrap your head around if you've never played one of them.
The goal around hero missions is for these to be this co-op PvE experience.
I personally only play competitive mode. Like, I'm all about that competition. And I have friends that they don't want to do that at all. So I'm really looking forward to a game that I can play hours and hours with my friends who aren't in competitive, and it's also something that I'm interested in.
Hero missions are the content that people are playing as they are leveling up their heroes. And so for a system like this to really sing, you need a lot of mission. We don't want players to feel like they're just in this grind to get to the top.
And there's a lot of really, really good back-end technology that we're exploring so that the heroes are constantly bringing their personality and some light story to these hero missions as well.
The goal is to make as many as possible, hundreds of hero missions. We've explored a lot of different ways of getting to that much content. So have like different sets of enemy units that people will be fighting against, and there's different hero mission types. At the same time, hero missions can take place in all of the multiplayer maps that we've done, and we're also adding new spaces onto some of these maps.
It's a huge challenge for the art team. We take maps that a lot of people love and recognize, and we have to add a lot more art and level design to it.
In this one hero mission playtest, we came up to an area in King's Row that usually has a gate on it. Suddenly that gate opened and I saw a new area of King's Row that I had never seen before.
You may be playing a payload game type, and the payload may decide to take this new route instead of going the usual route.
That was really, really cool. It was like this eye-opening special moment.
Lan, our lead tech artist on the environment side, very early on our own free time, made a prototype of a sandstorm on the Temple of Anubis map.
And at the time, we didn't know what we wanted to do with that, but it looked awesome.
We looked at it and went, oh my God, we absolutely have to do this.
So we put some new technology in place that allows us to do this dynamically. You start the mission off, clear day. Midway through the mission, suddenly this sandstorm or heavy weather would show up.
It made the world just feel so much more alive.
There's a sunset, daytime, nighttime, but depending on where you are in the world, these look different. California or Hollywood would have what we call a California sun. In New Bonny, there's a great African sun that happens there. You start to get a sense of space and mood. This is what really brings the levels to life.
For me, the dynamic world's exciting. Just seeing these dramatic landscapes, the wind and the atmosphere blowing by. It's a much more cinematic experience for the player.
Before you start a mission, you look at a map. It's nighttime in Necropolis, or there's a sandstorm in Necropolis. Players can make some comp choices based on knowing this information. Characters like Hanzo or Widowmaker start to be a little more valuable because they have abilities that allow them to see through the sand more clearly.
Are we going to talk about any of the types of objectives in hero missions?
Yeah, let's talk about the objectives. Players are being asked to do different things from one hero mission to the next so that they all feel really fresh to the player.
For example, we have Gather and Return, where you're trying to go and grab these different canisters to kind of safeguard them so they don't go off and affect the population in a negative way. It creates this really cool tension in the world where on the one hand, you're trying to split up and go grab all these canisters to be as efficient as possible. But at the same time, now you're having these sort of special enemy units spawn that are really difficult. And if you kind of get caught by yourself, it turns into a pretty bad situation really quickly. And it feels extremely cooperative and like a very different way to interact with the Overwatch universe.
We're experimenting with all sorts of ideas, and just internally we have names like Wall of Death, Scavenger Hunt, and Kill Quest, and all these new mechanics and enemies for people to experience. Players will be able to jump in night after night, play different hero missions, and then work through the progression system, leveling up their heroes.
At BlizzCon in 2019, we started to talk about progression, and we showed the very early version of our talent system, which I think was really cool. We had that one talent where like Meg became the rolling snowball, which was a big hit. We've really blown that system out.
I'm real excited about talents. You can play the same hero in so many different ways. Now with the skill tree, you can have fun every night doing different things and kind of experimenting.
Yeah, the talent system is like really deep and rich, and every single hero has different trees. You might open up 76's tree, and as you're leveling and picking new talents, you're starting to feel your hero change. We've had some pretty hilarious versions of the healing one where his biotic field travels with him. It also repulses enemies. We called it the snowplow build, where 76 is like running through spaces, pushing enemies away from them.
Designing these is super fun because it's like we get to break all the rules that we've sort of established for ourselves, and we get to really take the gloves off and do crazy things. Like Junkrat can dual wield grenade launchers, and we've had Mercy be able to area effect res their whole team at once at super long range through walls. It's been a ton of fun, kind of like mad scientists making all this stuff.
You're all used to using these kind of kinetic weapons like Soldier 76's rifle or fire attack like what Reinhardt's Flame Strike does. As soon as you start to mutate these things with talents, all of a sudden maybe you're doing freeze damage or electrical damage. But it gives the animators a bunch of crazy opportunities. You know, the animations are going to change to show them freezing and shattering. And if you shock someone with a lightning attack, they can shake in place and stun, maybe chain to other enemies. All sorts of stuff to make you feel like you're controlling the battlefield in novel ways.
As a huge RPG nerd myself, the first time I opened up the talent tree systems, it was like, oh my gosh, this is speaking my love language. Like, I just want to plan and I want to see, like, where do I want to invest and how am I going to play this character?
Yes, it's so great. And you start at the bottom of the tree. Like,
yes,
oh my,
exactly.
Like, Tracer gets to do what?
Yeah.
And then you start working and kind of planning how you're going to get down there. It's like, oh, it's so fun.
When we look back at BlizzCon 2019 and we talk about some of the criticisms that we had, one of them as a development team that we felt was that the combat was just not engaging enough. So the fact that our combat wasn't highly engaging to us as players meant that we had a problem with the enemy units and that they just weren't feeling interesting enough.
Just because we show something to the public, it doesn't mean that that is what it's going to be. If we make discoveries where things aren't working how we want, they're not reading how we want, they're not fun enough, we're totally down to reinvestigate, reiterate, and just really find ways to level kind of all aspects of things until they feel good.
I would say a major focus of all of 2020 was to make the null sector enemy units more engaging. And some of this was adding new units and evolving other units that we had.
Interesting combat for us is varied combat for us. So sometimes we're going to ask you to protect something in Overwatch 2. Sometimes we're just going to ask you to get someplace. Sometimes we might ask you to escort something across a map while it's being attacked. And so it's a different type of spawning, and it's a different type of units that are in there, and it's a simpler objective.
There's a lot of units Aaron is talking about. Lots of different units, lots of different types. They serve different purposes. You do different things to them. It's really going to help a lot of us find the fun and make sure that Overwatch 2 is a blast.
One of those sets of enemies is what we internally call objective units. And they're typically units that don't even attack players. The simplest version would be something like the Breacher.
It's two legs with this huge bomb on its back. It was built to do one thing: slowly and methodically march towards its objective, and then it transforms, and the bomb opens up like a flower. It starts spinning and charging up, and you hear this awesome sound, and you know you have a little bit of time before it's going to explode and you have to take it out.
We have units like the slicers, which you guys have seen before. They're little, we call them the chickens. They're little chicken snares. They run really fast. You know, we have a guy we're experimenting with right now who flies and drops these bombs that create these kind of ever-expanding smoke fields that you have to escape from, but because they're super deadly. So you really get to use your mobility options to kind of escape that.
There's things like the Polar. You could be moving through these darker alleys, and as soon as you hear that Polar spawn, it suddenly becomes like really spooky and kind of scary.
This very tall, elegant-looking character that's blindfolded, 3 orbs that circle around her as her eyes, and we basically spun those orbs around her head as a big tell, launched them at the player, and then it activates this tractor beam, and it's bringing you in, and then you get this awesome like anticipation of the hair opening up so you know what's about to happen.
One thing we've just recently been experimenting with is this idea of elite units. We didn't want the elite units to feel like they're just, oh, this guy's got double health and double damage. We want to make sure the elite units feel like they have different behaviors and have different attacks. So for example, an Omnic Grunt, normally he fires his gun, he dies pretty simply. If you fight elite grunts, his weapon fires in a burst fire pattern. It's very deadly if you're close. And if you manage to take them out, they don't just die right away. They instead can crawl on the ground towards you, and you try to back away because if they get to you, they can explode.
Artillery at BlizzCon. We're all just staring at this, and we're like, what are we going to do to level this up?
One of the things we really felt wasn't coming through was the damage states. We intend for players to shoot these guns off, but currently it's not reading as something that can happen in the game easily.
We change the design, we change the animation, and we go back and forth and just continually iterate.
We decided, hey, you know what? We're gonna just delete half of these damage states, so now it's super readable.
From an animation standpoint, we decided on spinning barrel version. Just did this really nice kickback. The tip of the barrel opens up when it's about to fire and shifts into place and boom!
It's really amazing to be fighting an artillery unit and you can see the guns on the side, and as you're shooting the guns, they're actually visibly taking damage, and then you can blow them off and it reacts and kind of stumbles to the side and really makes you feel like you're there, and it's super fun.
In a lot of the stuff we've showed so far, you're fighting Null Sector. These are evil killing machines intent on marching you down. The way you're going to stop them is by shooting them, and we want to make sure that feels responsive and visceral. Really making sure that when they take a hit, it feels like their whole body has been punched, almost like hit by a truck. That's what really sells this fantasy that you're playing these superheroes. One of the cool pieces of technology that we created was what we call chain hit reactions. Oftentimes you'll find Null Sector bunched up, marching maybe a half a dozen units abreast. You expect if you shoot one, they're gonna knock into their buddies. So we make that happen. Turns out it's really fun too.
One of the things that we showed last year at BlizzCON was the new looks for our heroes. The theory kind of going in was like, you want to preserve the essence of your hero, but also kind of show that that heroes evolved and kind of changed and moved forward. So we have a lot more new looks. So I'm excited to see how players and fans react to all of the ones that we've done so far.
Maybe we'll share some of those new looks today, which would be cool.
We're going to reveal McCree's new look for Overwatch 2 as well as Pharah. And we're really excited to show off some of our first villains with Reaper and Widowmaker. But first I wanted to talk a little bit about technical wear, kind of like technical clothing. What that really is using very techie fabrics, as well as having very intricate but functional straps designed in a way that is very aesthetically pleasing. With McCree, we took a couple of different approaches. He's got this classic cowboy look that it's really hard to mess with, because if you try to make him too sophisticated or too techie, it might not feel right for the character. But as a concept artist, you always want to change things around and try different shapes and silhouettes, so we did identify as Red Serape as the main thing for McCree. We also tried a couple different things with McCree's cowboy hat. We didn't really want to mess with that too much because that's a very iconic part of him. So that's another piece that we kept. We tried some retro cowboy looks that mixed in some tech here and there. Some that were a little bit more techie than others, some that were a little bit more classic cowboy. We gave him a little bit of a longer beard, and it really gives him a nice kind of like a more aged look. What's different about Pharah than some of our other heroes is Pharah's completely covered in armor. We didn't want to change her silhouette too much. It was more about experimenting on different colors. So it felt really appropriate for her to be the one to harken back to those original Overwatch colors of white and blue. One of the things that we wanted to update on Pharah was her visor. Instead of being completely opaque and reflective, we tried a little bit more of a transparent approach, and being able to see through it a little bit now allows us to see some more of her emotions. Reaper was actually the ones I was very excited to work on, because I could see a lot of potential in how we can integrate his cloak and his cowl and his armor, and how we can make all those shapes really sing within that classic, Reaper silhouette. We tried a couple takes with the first pass, like completely silver arms, more layers to his jacket. Reaper's mask is obviously pretty sacred to us, but the thing you'll notice immediately is that it's now completely silver. Instead of the bone white, he's got this like almost like deadly edgy silver that just gives him that classic Reaper look. With Widowmaker, we started with the idea stage, exploring a breadth of ideas. We tried things like a more insectoid approach, treasure hunter. One of them made her feel like a classic Bond villain, so we kind of steered it back towards one of the more cyberpunk looking ones, almost like a futuristic femme fatale, which is basically what Widowmaker is, but she even feels more upgraded. So I'm super glad that we went down this route. We played with different hairstyles too. Widowmaker has the really long ponytail that's really key part of her look. And we really liked the hairstyle on one of the designs that was more of a parade, and it was really interesting look that also preserves Widowmaker's original silhouette with that long ponytail.
We've been working a lot with our domino engine and making our cloth look better. Now that we have this cloth tech, we're going to be able to make some really cool, unique silhouettes that will help them stand out from other heroes. We put a lot of time and effort into our face rig, and what I mean by that is we're gonna be able to get really close to these characters, and it's gonna feel really cool. It is absolutely worth the time and the effort to invest in the technology, and that way we can make these characters do more things that we haven't really been able to do before.
It's been super exciting working on the new looks for Overwatch 2, and it's just been so inspiring to watch the team try things that we've never tried before, and I just can't wait to show up more in the future.
Overwatch 2 is probably the largest opportunity we've had since the inception of the franchise to really expand what Overwatch even means to our players. In 0 Hour, we saw that some of the heroes got back together, but we're also seeing that there seems to be a second huge Omnic uprising. We're gonna learn who's behind that uprising, why that's happening, how globally spread is it.
The story and franchise development group, they were really the torchbearers of what the big story is that we were going to tell for this game.
We have a lot of interaction with them. They're working
Жёстко какая-то,
on in-game
непропорциональная
cinematic
какая-то.
intros and outros for every one of our story missions.
It's been really great to see this collaboration grow and develop. The story is just a little more integrated into our missions than it ever really has been before. All the available heroes get dialogue for a given mission. We have NPCs, we have multiple hero choices.
We have all sorts of events that are happening that are driving players to interact with each other or parts of the environment or other characters.
The world of Overwatch is this bright, shiny future. So how do you take that bright, shiny future and create conflict in it? How dark can the world of Overwatch go?
The different challenges that these characters are going to have to overcome in Overwatch 2 are things that they haven't ever dealt with before or dealt with on this scale. So what we had to do was literally strip it down to this bare bones of where are these characters in their lives. Overwatch has been disbanded, and now there's a situation where the world's in trouble again, and the world needs the heroes again, but they're not allowed to be doing what they were supposed to be doing.
We started to book these off-site locations so we could brainstorm over and over different versions of what the Overwatch 2 story campaign could be.
And we basically had these whiteboards that we were carting around everywhere.
The room was filled with whiteboards, and we would just write every day story beats with the characters and who was doing what and where, and oh my gosh, we forgot this character.
We had these giant sticky notes, and each one of them would be a mission with a bunch of notes on it. You know, somebody say, well, what if we moved Rio to the end, and they'd physically grab it off the wall and stick it on the end.
And we did this for a while, you know, until we all felt that it was pretty close to what we wanted.
Then we could send it to our writers' rooms. The writers' rooms then had a much clearer direction of where we wanted this process to go.
Ultimately, we come up with something that we think is right for the game, and then we pitch it back to the game team, and they point out everything that we missed.
And that allows us to actually back up and go and make it right and make it better.
Because the scale of this story is so huge, it takes place over the whole world, basically. It just requires a constant iteration, constant refinement to make the story as best as we can make it.
From writing, we go to storyboards. The storyboards get crafted with the edit. From there, it'll go to a previs department where they'll start to flesh it out in 3D. Once we've kind of figured out our camera work and our cinematography, that'll then go to the animation department. And then we end up going right into the game engine.
One of our challenges was to figure out how to integrate this story and this narrative with the gameplay.
So if the intro cinematic ends with this huge battle, this huge war, when you get into the game, it has to mesh and feel the exact same way and blend together.
We really are also trying to get the music to be equally as consistent from in-game cinematics straight through to the mission. Adam Burgess, our lead composer, has been working with the IGC team, with the game team, developing themes for all of the heroes, all of the locations.
As the cinematic director, whatever we're crafting should never override the gameplay. We want to make sure that the player's experience going from the cinematic to the gameplay is seamless and it feels like a completely immersive experience.
The engineers, we have to find a way to actually make that come to fruition. The choreo tool is a tool that allows people to coordinate different events to happen at the same time. Like in Rio, if you played our demo, one of the buildings explodes. And so that kind of event needs to happen as you're running by, and you need to have it timed, because if it blows up too early, then you don't see it. It allows story moments in missions that interact with the environment, that interact with our characters.
The new tech, the new abilities that we have now are allowing us to push our storytelling farther than we could have previously.
What's also really powerful about Choreo is that, you know, if somebody has an idea, they can mock things up really quickly.
We got to show the Widowmaker making this awesome introduction. Casey was able to quickly put a really rough prototype in Choreo. And Philip would come in and on the fly, he's making quick changes. They play tested something that would normally take weeks. It was done in like a matter of days.
Each story mission has its own custom map built for it, and these maps are absolutely gigantic.
India is one of our biggest maps, and it's a fun map because it has a few story beats that we've taken from recent comics and characters in the game.
We've written a history for each city so that the cities feel lived in. And I think that informs the artists so that they know like what it is that the city has been through.
Gothenburg was our chance to show Torbjorn's workshop. We created a space that kind of fits his height. So there's, step ladders and scalable tables. We designed the space as if we were Torbjorn. Molten steel is pouring out of walls. It's pretty epic when you walk into it. Toronto was under siege by Null Sector when the players arrive here. There's a dynamic snowstorm. So as you make your way through the level, the snow is slowly building up. Suddenly by the end, the characters are caught in this gigantic
Что-то я
snowstorm and
проголодался,
they must
смотря
fight their
вот это
way
все.
through.
Что-то, блин.
In Overwatch 2, we want to give you choice to be able to play this character or that character. So we're designing a lot of systems around how their relationships develop over the course of the story missions in the campaign.
We have a cast of many characters, all on screen, all at the same time, and it's fantastic to actually see them all interacting and working together in ways that we've never actually seen. We've always thought about it and hoped for it, but now it's actually happening.
It actually requires us to have a whole new branching dialogue system. If you happen to have Genji and Mercy in the second mission of the game, you might get different dialogue that's about their relationship.
Our voice actors bring the characters to life in ways that everybody has fallen in love with, from inside Blizzard to the fans. Just to hear this collection of actors all together, all interacting, has been a real treat.
Hammer down!
I wish people could see how many people are involved when it comes to something like telling the story of Overwatch. It doesn't just come from a singular person, it comes from a group, and it's a really talented, fun group that all works together.
We've been developing what we hope is one of the best stories ever. There's some key story moments that I'm really excited about, and I really can't wait to see how people react to it.
We've been talking about the game, about this universe. I know you all love it so much.
Right now, we can sit down and have a night of Overwatch 2 and have it be a really fun experience. And I think we need some more time till we can say it's perfectly polished in the way that we want it.
We've made such incredible strides since we first announced this and showed it to the community at BlizzCON in 2019.
The thing that I'm most excited about is that moment when we hand the game over to the players.
We want to create something that really moves people, really touches people.
That's why we do it. We create the game because we want it to become part of your life and for you to experience it.
For Overwatch 2, we're upping the bar.
It's kind of 5 games in one. It's a huge undertaking.
The new tech and the new aesthetics for the new looks bring you closer to the characters that you love, and we're just getting started.
The fidelity of the gameplay experience is much richer.
We are making cinematics that push the boundary of what we can do to tell stories.
We want this dynamic world. We want things to feel alive.
I'm really looking forward to being able to expand the world of Overwatch for our players.
We're really trying to tell this epic story.
In order to make a game great, it takes time, energy, collaboration.
We have just an incredibly professional team of designers and artists and engineers.
We just love bringing this world to you guys. So many cool characters. It's just a blast working on it.
Our goal is for Overwatch 2 to be the worthy successor to the first game, to be the next evolution, and to be a true sequel.
We have big plans, so thank you for sticking with us.
We're gonna cross the finish line, and I know it's gonna be awesome.
I hope people just end up loving playing it over and over.
That's what we want to try and capture. I'm jumping in, I'm playing, let's go be heroes.
Да. Мультик давайте, блин.
Dolby is a proud partner of BlizzCON Online. Watch Shock vs. the World in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, only in the Dolby Access app. Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of BlizzCON Online.
Вот. Точно. Кока-кола.
Who's ready for some fireworks?
You'll love this one.
Greetings. Our fates are entwined.
Rally at my position. I feel unstoppable.
The best gets better.
Let me show you how it's done. Turning up the heat. I'm ready. Give me your best shot.
새해 복 많이 받으세요. You can't catch me.
I've got you in my sights.
Now we're moving.
There ain't more in A to die.
Lights out. I've still got it.
Вот кто-то умеет рисовать, а кто-то я. Так, стоп. Погнали. Что это такое было?
Welcome to BlizzCON Line. My name is Andrea Toyas. I'm the senior.
I play the game, I feel it, I see it in just like subtle ways, and just really enhances the overall sense of immersion and experience, and I just want to see what's around the corner.
The weapons are also, like, going back all the way to Diablo 2.
Fight directly to the jailer. Within the Maw, we will uncover brand new, never before seen areas. We'll also be fighting off some new.
See, every time you queue up, they're going to be getting this pretty heavy replica. I was actually trying to wear it. It doesn't exactly fit on my head. It's actually quite heavy. One thing's for sure, though, it's going to be a pretty expensive shipping cost, whoever wins this bad.
I like just getting in and out and like destroying whole.
This game. Yeah, the fact of the matter is that there's no easy response to the Banshee, especially if they're coming out in pairs. And as the last SCVs are falling here.
You, those of you who care about the voice actor panels, none of us would be here. So I love you. Thank you for joining. I hope you have a great panel. We've got a great show ahead. And welcome to the Voices of Overwatch voice actor panel for BlizzCon line. I mean, I wish you were all here right now because I've got chills. To look around the room and see these people here, it just seems like a dream. This is not going to feel real till we go home tonight. It's not going to feel real. And you guys, usually I like to do my big surprise, who's behind door number 1, but unless they walk through the library, that wasn't going to work. So here's the grand reveal of all of our wonderful participants. So I think you know everybody on this stage, but let me go through introductions just to kind of get us all on the same page. So of course, we could not have an Overwatch panel without the mayor of BlizzCon himself, Lord Darren DePaul, also known as Reinhardt. There we go. You at home, you got to clap.
I don't have it. I would hit a cameraman if I threw candy. It's not happening.
I know.
Hi, I'm Darren.
Yay! That's right. I forgot to say you guys have to clap for us because usually you're right in front of me with your big smiling faces, but you're not here. So you got to promise me that you're clapping at home, please. And then, of course, we have to have our beloved dad. We have to have Soldier 76, also known as Fred Tatasciore.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Oh, my.
And really glad that you let me use my apartment. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. And then, of course, our beloved power female, totally kick-ass and wonderful in the game, our delicious diva, also known as Charlotte Chung. Yay! Oh, my God, I love it. And then, if I had my way, I'd have the whole cast on this stage. It's so, every year I want you to know, having to work with the Overwatch team in shoes is so difficult. But we just had to get the ones we love them all, but this is who we ended up with. And we've got our fabulous, I don't really think you guys have heard of Matt Mercer before. He's new to the nerd world. So I want to introduce you to Matt Mercer for the first time, also known as McCree.
Как-то даже внешне он похож.
Soldier Dad's apartment.
Anytime, son.
And then we also really wanted to bring somebody new in to share our love with you and to share our love of her. So I'm so excited, so honored and privileged to introduce you to Jeannie Bollet, who plays Echo. So Jeannie,
welcome.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Yes. And I know you can't see our fans, but everybody, this is BlizzCon. These are our fans. Let's just
Какие-то
pretend they're out there.
новые Макри. Обычный солдат тоже начал
As
появляться.
you know, I always love to have somebody from the team, so I'm really honored and delighted to bring somebody to you from the Overwatch team, the creative director, Jeff Chamberlain. So this is Jeff Chamberlain. Jeff, everybody. Yes. And Jeff, you and I never talked about this, but I'm so excited. I never tell you this. I need to tell you I love you more, Jeff. But because Jeff and I have worked together for so long, I remember you and I in early StarCraft 2 sessions together. I mean, we go way back. We're OGs together. So it's always really cool to work with Jeff and have him join us. So thanks, Jeff.
My pleasure. It's always fun to, get into the recording booth with you and figure these characters out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Jeff would love to be here, but like all of us, he's got to stay extra safe for his family. Otherwise, he'd be sitting on my lap right now, right, Jeff? I think we'd be cuddling probably. Or I'd be, one of those. So there's so much I want to talk about. I wish we had all day. We don't. So I just want to, my goal, as I said earlier in the monologue, is to have you in my living room. So the first thing I want to talk about is how's everybody doing? It's been a tough year. It's been crazy. And I just want to ask everybody, we can go in rotation or talk together. I had a tough year. I'm doing great now. Anytime I get to be with you, I'm great. How's everybody? How you doing? Tell me about how you've been since we last saw you.
I'm fine.
I feel like you're always fine. I can't.
Well, you got to stay
sad?
joyful.
I
I mean,
know.
this has been a time of distance, and yet we still find our connections where we can, whether it's online or just passing someone on the street and waving from a distance. It's sharing our hearts, and that's what I love about what we've created here. And every year we come back to it and add more people that we adore and say, welcome, it's nothing but joy. Welcome to our little world of yes.
I love that. So Darren, how have you been getting by? Like, do you get, I'm sure you get sad, but how do you just joy and gratitude and?
Yeah, we moved to a new house.
Congratulations.
It's like our first adult house ever. But we have an office and we record, and very, very lucky, knock on everything. Work keeps going, and that keeps you going. A lot of our friends in the Broadway community have not been working. We lost someone from a show a long time ago yesterday. So we've been losing a lot of our people. And I think you go back to what brings you comfort and it's spending Zoom calls with those people. It's listening to Leon Redbone and David Byrne and Buster Poindexter and going back to what I did in college when I had no friends. But it's that reaching for things. Did I play Diablo 3 a lot in the beginning? Yeah.
Yes.
Because that world was the world I liked to run around in and visit little shopkeepers that would go, I will survive if you buy something. And I never buy anything. So there's a little guilt there.
I love it.
But you know me, I'm just a big mouth stupid.
I love it. And I got to give a shout out. Look at Darren. Even in a pandemic, he's dressed just impeccably.
Always.
Always. And we found out they make
It's Photoshop.
It's Photoshop. Right? Actually, it's in his pajamas. We found out there's onesies that are suit onesies, you said?
Or yeah, pajamas. You can
We need to get a
one super-
Kickstarter and buy him a whole wardrobe of suit
We got you
onesies.
covered.
Yes.
Yay!
You'll look amazing. It's going to be a BlizzCon Overwatch sleepover next time.
Yeah.
Yes.
You always have a bow tie on. Why did you pick the tie?
I changed it up.
Oh.
I had some bow ties earlier, and then I did ties and liked them. My sister has a store, and I call her. She has a men's high-end men's store, and I'll call her and I'll say, "Hey, I want this," and I order it, and that's my way of helping her out because business has been rough, and I'm like, "Give me this."
Is this in New York? Or?
No, she moved to San Antonio, Texas, and she's been in Texas for a long time. My parents had moved. Those are sad stories that we do not want to get into about stuff. But it's still having that connection. Just my father was a clothing designer.
That's right.
And you know the Reinhardt voice is kind of him. And
That's right.
So he would like it. He'd go, "You look good."
You,
right?
you look amazing.
Yes,
You
but bow
always.
ties are good on you as well. You know.
It's so hard not to just bite your face and hug you. I just want to bite you so bad. All of
Many
you.
people say that.
Yes, it's true. Well, how's everybody else? How's everybody doing?
Hanging in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very lucky to be.
Definitely a little bit of gameplay there to make sure that you're using it in a way that is most appropriate to help you get where you're trying to go and also fight the monsters you want to fight. One of the things I'm most excited about for the open world right now is this feature we have called camps. So
Action-packed game still.
No, you're definitely right about that, and I think
Корица
that's
рубится
probably
по-любому.
how it's going to go.
Ладно. С этим, конечно, все понятно. Пошел я спать. Как бы, это, конечно, круто. Плохо, что нет русских субтитров. Нигде. Ни в одной панели. Меня прям это раздражает. Ну, в принципе, так-то более-менее понятно, потому что они что-то говорят, что... Да, может, как бы то, что они говорят много, это, конечно, сбивает. Но в целом, более-менее что-то как бы отдельно понятно. Вот. По оверу, короче, как обычно, нифига. А вот все остальное, блин, не знаю. Надо, короче, тут расписание. Вот я бы, конечно, посмотрел бы стратегии, как все начиналось. Я так понимаю, в стратегиях сейчас идет типа Легенда Старкрафт, это типа, наверное, лучшие там поединки, типа на них. Голоса Overwatch не особо смотреть. Ну это музыка. Музыка, конечно, я бы посмотрел, потому что прям музыка в Овере, это, конечно, прям очень классная. Что? Угу. Ну да. В 11. Ну, в принципе, вечерком я тоже могу посмотреть, что. Прям не все, конечно. Но тут, если смотрю, прям. Сегодня в 12. Но вообще странно, они даже начали в час. По-любому, значит, часов в 12. ФК. Короче, расписание на этот. И все, да? Вот он весь как бы онлайн, да? Это как, блин, вообще прям обломно. Ох. Ладно. Я спать.